So, welcome to this anatomy video. Today we'll explore the bones, ligaments, and other structures like nerves and blood vessels of the foot, and especially in the midfoot, forefoot, and also the toes. So, first, we have the foot bones structure, and it's important to know that the foot contains three main sections: the hindfoot, midfoot, and also the forefoot. That in this video we'll review the tarsal bones briefly, then focus on the metatarsals and the phalanges, that are the bones of the toes and the most important structures of these. So then we have the tarsals. Here are the tarsal bones that is there are the calcaneus, talus, navicular, triconiform that are first, second, and third, and also the cuboid. From below we can see the same bones in a different view. So we can see in this video the important structures, and in them and the different movements of the plantar that are the same on the posterior part. Next, we have the metatarsal that there are five metatarsal bones that are numbered from 1 to 5, starting on the big toe, that is the first metatarsal is thicker than and stronger than the rest, and the second is the longest. Of the fifth metatarsal, there is a noticeable bump called the tubercle, where the different muscles insert and also have the origin and the insertion. And this is important to know this information because it allows us to understand the different movements of our muscles and also the different movements that our foot do. And then we have the metatarsal that we can see in the second and the third video, and that they heads like the well they bases and form the transverse arch along the cuneiforms and also the cubit in the base of the toe. And now I am going to talk about the arches of the foot, that are two main arches. The transverse arch is from side to side, and also the longitudinal arch from front to back. These arches are crucial to grade distribution and also shock absorption. And finally, these toes and phalanges are important to support our body. The big toe has two phalanges, are the proximal and the distal phalange, and that we can see there in this video. in this video. That are two different phalanges, proximal and distal, while the other toes have three, that are the proximal, middle, and the distal phalanges. That are there. The metatarsal phalangeal joints, the MP joints, are connected the metatarsals to the phalanges. Between the phalanges, we have the interphalangeal joints, that are those structures, the ligaments with the joints. Um, it's important to know that the base of our muscle and our movements are the ligaments, and also are in the on the superior or in the posterior part of our muscles. So the ligaments support all the bones. On the dorsal side, the top of the foot, there is a layer of strong and ligaments that connect the tarsal bones to each other, and also the metatarsal, and that link the heads of the metatarsals together. But the most important ligament are the found in the plantar side, in the bottom of the foot, that we can see there in the plantar part. The first is the short plantar ligament that connect the calcaneus to the cuboid bone that is in front of it is a groove, the peroneus longus tendon, that allows to walk and also swim. Many of the short ligaments is the long plantar ligament, and also start in the calcaneus and extends all the way of the bases of the third and fourth metatarsal. And the fifth one, it arch are the peroneus longus tendon and help to maintain the foot's structure and the arch. Lastly, we have the plantar aponeurosis in this part, in this video. Um, that take the tendon like a band and runs along the sole and the foot. It begins at the calcaneus and also finds toward the toes, spreading in the five parts is near to the MP joints or metaphalangeal joints. These divisions help to the anterior toes and support the longitudinal arch that allows the abduction and adduction of the toes. Together, these bones and these ligaments are the foot create a strong flexible and foundation essential for the balance and also walking and weight bearing. You understanding this, the structure is key for anyone studying anatomy, medicine, and supports the science. But it's important to know that the structure are the different muscles that we have in the posterior and anterior part that are the extensors muscles. The extensors muscles are the two long extensors, the extensor hallucis longus for the big toe, and also the extensor digitorio longus that is from the other toes. So the big toe and the other toes are the digitorio longus. These muscles also assist in the ankle dorsiflexion, and their tendons travel across the front on the ankle. For example, this is the toe and this is the ankle. Their tendons travel across and in front of the ankle and insert into the extensor expansions of the toes that the extensor is situated in this part of our toe. Beneath them, we find short toe extensor that are the extensor hallucis brevis that is there, and the digitorio brevis that is in this part of the toe, in the plantar part. And they originate in the calcaneus. The calcaneus is here, for example, and they join in the long of the tendons to help to extend the toes, stand, and also they don't affect the ankle, especially in the different activities that we try to do every day. So in this part, we have the flexor hallucis longus from the fibula serving to the big toe, and the flexor digitorio longus from the tibia for the small toes. You can see there. Thus, these tendons pass under the flexor retinaculum, cross each other flexor hallucis longus like the dipper, and the tendon of flexor hallucis longus passes between the sesame bones and beneath the first MP joint and inserts in the distal phalanx, like the flexor digitory. We are going to talk about the central muscles of the toe. So now let's move on the central group that is closely related to the tendon and the flexor digitory longus. This group includes the lumbricals muscles and also the flexor accessorius and the quadratus plantae. Finally, we can find the flexor digitorum brevis that is so important to the extension. The flexor accessorius arises from the calcaneus and the inserts into the deep aspect of the flexor digitorum that we can see in the first video. Longus tendon assisting in the toe flexion and we can see in the second video. The flexor digitorum brevis also originates from the calcaneus and divides into four tendons. Each tendon enters a sheath, splits, and wraps around the corresponding longus tendons and inserts into the middle phalanges, helping to flex toes and also the MP joints that are situated in the third video. And then we have the muscles of the big toe that now we can see in these videos, the short flexor muscles of the big toe that we have three. The flexor hallucis brevis, the abductor hallucis. Flexor hallucis brevis has two parts that arise from the cuboids and also the third cuneiform that is in the second video. It forms two tendons that inserts in the medial and the lateral sesamoid bones that are on the base of the proximal phalanx and also in the big toe. The tendon of the flexor hallucis longus runs between these two insertions that are in the third video in the lateral part of the toe. The abductor has oblique head from the metatarsals and also the transverse head that is the deep and transverse metatarsal ligament. Both heads that we can see here had the flexor hallucis brevis to insert in the medial sesamoid bone and also in the clavicula. The abductor hallucis lies most medially. It arises from the calcaneus and also inserts with the flexor hallucis brevis on the same side. A lot of muscles inserts in the same part in the calcaneum and also in the tuberosity major tuberosity. Together, these three muscles that we can see there, that is the MP joint of the big toe and also the adductor hallucis, um, allows the adduction and the adduction of the big toe. That is so important that we can when we play football or that do a lot of activities or sports. Then we have the muscles of the toe that are the short muscles of the fifth toe that is are these. We have the flexor digiti minimi brevis that is modified and is interosseous muscle. An abductor digiti minimi, which originates from the calcaneus and also inserts in the proximal phalanx of the fifth toe that we can see in this video. And finally, we have the all the structures, but now we are going to mention the nerves and also the blood vessels that are very important for the innervation, irrigation, and the different nutritional parts or functions in our body and especially in the food. So now we can see also in this image the blood vessels that are the superficial veins that form the long saphenous vein medially. That is in the first video. And also the short saphenous vein laterally. The anterior tibial artery becomes the dorsalis pedis and also the artery of the dorsum that is on the foot. It gives also the a lot of branches and eventually connect that the lateral part of the plantar artery and the medial part of the plantar artery. The posterior tibial artery that divides into a medial and lateral plantar. The medial plantar supplies the inner sole and the big toe, and the lateral plantar artery runs across the sole, and also the dorsalis pedis form like a little arch that allows to irrigate or to nutrate the different toes of this section. In the second image, we can see the nerves. The superficial peroneal nerve supplies most of the foot, while the deep peroneal nerve innervates the extensor and the skin between these first two toes, and also in the different straits of our toe. On the sole, the medial plantar nerve serves like in the medial sole and the first 3.5 toes, and in the lateral plantar nerve serves lateral sole and the fifth toe and the deep muscles like the interossei. Also, is important to mention in this part the sural nerve, the saphenous nerve, and also the calcaneal branches that allows the different sensations on the lateral foot, the medial ankle, and also the tibial nerve. It's important to mention that our skin in this part on in the top of the foot skin is thin and also mobile for to allow the different activities that we do like run, like walk, and also when we do exercise is so important because allows different movements and also allows um, to connect the different parts in a better way and also sustain or support a lot of weight of our body and extra weight, like for example in the gym with the different activities or the different exercises that we do. On the sole is like a thick and anchored by fibrous stand to the bones and the plantar fascia. This prevents sleeping and also that protects the against pressure. And is also important to say that this was a quick tour of the field of the foot vessels, nerves, skin, bones, and also all the structures in our foot. But it's important to know how every structure works together to like a little action like walk or run every day. So keep learning and anatomy step by step with this video